Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I have something very interesting as well as very exciting for the Buick lineup, and that is a side-by-side comparison of Buick's latest subcompact SUVs, the Encore GX versus the Envista. So behind me, I have the refreshed 2024 Encore GX Sport Touring and the all-new 2024 Envista ST or Sport Touring model. So in this video, I want to cover all of the feature options and packaging differences between the Sport Touring trim in specific, because that is what I have access to here in the exact same exterior color and actually fairly close in terms of equipment as well. Then we'll cover the dimensional differences, both on the exterior as well as the interior in terms of the overall physical size, dimensions, volume, stuff like that, because one is definitely a little bit bigger than the other one. Then we'll move on to the powertrain and all the mechanical aspects in terms of the drivetrain, powertrain, what powers each of these two models. And then finally, of course, we will cover the exact pricing information for the Sport Touring or the ST trim in specific, because that will be the focus of this video. So with all that information in mind, let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Now, the first thing I do want to cover is some of the feature options and packaging differences and similarities between the Sport Touring trims in specific. So both of these vehicles are going to have a lengthy list of standard equipment, and some of the notable features here in the Sport Touring in specific is going to be things like the digital 8-inch cluster, the 11-inch infotainment system, wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, LED projector headlights, and full LED lighting at the front of the vehicle with your turn signals and daytime running lights. The Buick driver confidence features, which are some of the safety and driver assistance technologies, front and rear USB charge ports, push button start, Wi-Fi hotspot, and 18 or 19-inch gloss black wheels, again for the Sport Touring in specific, depending on which package you do add on top of the standard equipment list. So as a whole, those are going to be some of the standard features across the board for each of these two models. Now next, moving on to the standard features the Encore GX ST gets over the Envista ST, there's only just a few things, and those are the keyless or proximity entry on the outside door handles, LED taillights, as well as the blind spot alert with the rear cross traffic alert as well. That is actually optional on the Envista ST, but that does come standard on this particular trim level of the Encore GX. But outside of that, those are the only key differences in terms of the standard equipment you'll be gaining going to the Encore GX over the Envista ST. So next, moving on to the standard equipment on the Envista ST that is not found on the Encore GX ST, and there's actually just one item, and that is the single zone automatic climate control. Now, to get automatic climate control in this vehicle, you actually have to go to the Avenir trim in specific. So that's actually something that comes standard on the cheaper model of these two, where you do have to step up to the Encore GX Avenir just to get the dual zone automatic climate in this particular model. Now next, moving on to the optional features for both of these two models, those are going to be things like remote vehicle start, power driver seat, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, adaptive cruise control, wireless charging pad, power liftgate, rear park assist sensors, sunroof, and rain sense wipers. Now, a couple of these things are going to be different between the two. Sunroof, for example, is going to be the smaller standard type on the Envista versus the panoramic type on the Encore GX. And rain sense wipers is actually only an option on the Envista Avenir trim, so that is technically not available on the Sport Touring, but I did want to include it in this list just to show that rain sense wipers can be had on each of these two models. Now next, moving on to the features that are optional on the Encore GX ST that are actually not available on the Envista ST at all, and those are going to be the rear center armrest, the fold flat front passenger seat, as well as the HD surround view camera system. Those are actually not available on the Envista ST at all, but are options here on the Encore GX. But outside of that, that is pretty much going to be all of the feature differences between these two. Of course, there are going to be some minor differences in some of the exterior interior appearance. For example, some of the blue accents interior on the Envista that are actually not found in the Encore GX. Things like the body color mirror caps versus the gloss black mirror caps over there. But again, we will go over that here on the exterior walk around between each of these two vehicles. But outside of that, in terms of the major features and options, those are going to be the key differences. So next, I want to cover the physical dimension differences both on the inside as well as the outside between each of these two models. Now, I will have this up on the screen so you guys can follow along a little bit easier. But starting with the Encore GX, it's going to be 171.1 inches long, 71.4 inches wide, and 64.4 inches tall, excluding roof rails. And the wheelbase is going to be right at 102 inches long. Now, on the inside, you're going to have 40.9 inches of front legroom with 36 in the back. Hip room is going to be just over 50 inches for both the first and second row. Shoulder room is going to be right around 55 inches, again, for the first and second row. Headroom without sunroof is going to be between 38 and 39 inches. And headroom with a sunroof is nearly 2 inches less for the front seats at 37.9 and 38 out back. So those are some of the dimensional differences for the Encore GX. Now moving on to the Envista, this is going to be the larger of the two vehicles in certain dimensions, which we'll see here in a second. So the overall length of the Envista is 182.6 inches long, 71.5 inches wide, and 61.2 inches tall, again excluding roof rails, because roof rails are actually not available on any Envista. And the wheelbase is going to be 106 inches long. So as you can see, 4-inch longer wheelbase, and translates into nearly 10 inches longer of an overall vehicle. So that's kind of split between certain aspects of the exterior, but overall it is quite longer than the Encore GX. And moving on to the interior of the Envista, the legroom is going to be just under 42 inches for the front seat and just under 39 inches out back. Hip room is going to be about 52 inches in the front and about 46 inches out back. Shoulder room is going to be in the mid 50-inch range for first and second row occupants. Headroom without sunroof is going to be 39.4 in the front, 37.3 in the back, and headroom with the optional sunroof is going to drop down to 37.6 in the front and 37.3 in the rear. So getting a sunroof in the Envista does not matter for rear seat headroom, but it does affect the front seat headroom quite a bit, just like that of the Encore GX. Now, as you can see, comparing these dimensions side by side, the Envista is actually going to be just slightly larger in most of the aspects, both on the exterior as well as on the inside of the vehicle. Now, hip room is a little bit less in the second row for the Envista compared to the Encore GX, but outside of that, they're either going to be nearly identical or just slightly larger in the Envista, which again is actually the less expensive of these two vehicles, and again might start to confuse people. That's why I'm kind of making this video, to help clarify for you guys. But the Envista overall is either going to be very similar to the Encore GX or just a hair larger, depending on which dimension you look at. So now here on the outside, I do want to do a quick walk around and side-by-side comparison of each of these two models, just so you guys get a better understanding of some of the very small differences between each of them. So on my left, I have a 2024 Envista ST. This is a bare bones ST, no additional option packages. So it's basically as cheap as you can get in the Envista ST lineup. And on my right, I have a 2024 Encore GX ST with the advanced technology package, as well as a couple of small additional accessories, which do add to the overall MSRP. But outside of that advanced technology package, it's essentially an even comparison, as even as I can get side by side here at the same time, especially in the same exterior color. But at the front end, you'll find very similar design language, given that they're both based upon the Buick Wildcat EV concept. So you'll find a lot of similar design language across many new Buick SUVs as they roll out and are refreshed in the lineup. Now, starting in the Envista ST, you'll find the full LED lighting up front with your LED daytime running lights, turn signals up top, LED projector headlights a little bit farther down at the front bumper. You have some nice integrated chrome work on the sides, gloss black grille with some silver trim in the middle of the lower front bumper, and then of course some gloss black a little bit farther down, which does carry on around the rest of the perimeter of the vehicle. Both of them will have the new Buick logo with the split tri-shield design, red, white, and blue. Really do like it and think it is a big upgrade versus the old circular design. Now moving over here to the Encore GX, like I mentioned, all of the lighting is going to be the same with your LED daytime running lights up top, LED projector headlights a little bit farther down. You have a little bit more chrome accent on the front end of the grille design of this particular vehicle, but overall same gloss black grille, darker silver trim in the middle portion, and then a little bit more gloss black on the lower lip portion as well, that is actually closest to the overall pavement. So that's just going to be a quick look at these two vehicles side by side in the front end. The Encore GX does sit up a few inches taller, or the overall hood height is a little bit taller than that of the Envista, which may impact overall visibility out the front end, but given the fairly short nose, I really don't think it will be a very big issue for most people out there. Now, coming to the side of each of these two vehicles, you're actually going to find the same 18-inch wheel diameter finished in a gloss black accents, but the wheel designs themselves are actually going to be just a little different. So you have a few more spokes on the Envista ST. Once again, both of them are going to be gloss black, 18-inch in size. 19s are available as options and packages on each of these two vehicles. Both of them are going to be 225, 55, 18-inch tires, but you're going to have Goodyear Assurance All Seasons over here and Hankook Kinergy GT All Seasons on the Encore GX. So pretty much the only difference there in terms of the wheel and tire setup. Both are going to feature gloss black accents as far as the sport touring trim in specific. Some of the other trims will either be matte black plastic or the body color cladding for, of course, the Avenir. Now, one other difference I see in terms of the mirror caps is going to be gloss black with integrated LED turn signal integration on the Envista. They are going to be heated. It does not have standard blind spot detection, so this particular vehicle does not have that. But over here on the Encore GX, you'll have the body color, no LED integration, and once again, this is the camera for the advanced technology package. They're still going to be heated, and it does come standard with blind spot detection. So that's a key difference there. Once again, proximity entry on all 4 door handles here on the Encore GX. And there's a quick look at the overall side profile. Roof rails up top, tinted glass out back is standard, and there's all of the gloss black around the lower section, and of course the wheel and tire setup itself. Over here on the Envista, still have tinted glass, but you can see the overall body shape is going to be very, very different with the sloping roof line and the overall sportback, liftback design. So it gives you a little bit of less headroom and storage space in terms of cargo capacity out back, but the vehicle itself is going to be much longer in terms of the wheelbase, as well as some of the other interior dimensions. Body color door handles, no standard proximity entry, so that's why there's no buttons found on that one. But out back, once again, there can get a better understanding of the sportback, liftback design. Some of the gloss black trim runs back into the C-pillar. No rear wiper. You have the integrated tinted glass with the rear defrost function. LED third brake light up top. No roof rails like I mentioned. And there's a better look at the overall rear diffuser. No integrated exhaust tips, but you have the same silver accent trim. Partial LED lighting with your brake lights and turn lights, and I believe these are incandescent reverse lights up there. There's your Envista Buick logos, ST over here on the passenger side. And we'll go quickly over here to the Encore GX, which once again does have partial LED tail lamps as well. So your LED turn lights and brake lights are up top, with your reverse lights a little bit farther down on the rear bumper. Slightly more aggressive rear diffuser, still no visible exhaust tips. You have some of the gray accent trim that matches the front bumper as well. And all of your same badging, Buick ST Encore GX all-wheel drive, which we will point out a little bit later in this video, and it does have an integrated rear wiper. So if you live in a snowy or icy climate, at least part of the year, the rear wiper definitely helps out in clearing all that. So hopefully that gives you a better understanding of some of the overall cosmetic and exterior design. Now let's take a look on the inside of each of these 2 models and see how they differ there. So first I want to start out with the Encore GX on the interior. Now both of them are going to have the black interior accents. However, you'll find here on the Encore GX there won't be any color keyed accents in specific. Now here on the door panel you'll find a soft touch center section right there with some gray accent stitch. Power windows, mirrors and locks, automatic driver's side window, chrome door handle pull, and a good amount of door storage down below. 6-way manual seat, so that is going to be the same between each of these 2 vehicles. Like I said, there is your leather material with the gray accent stitching. You have the ST logo in the tops of the headrest there. There's a quick look at the front dashboard. Flat bottom steering wheel that is going to be leather wrapped, which is a very nice touch on both of them. See the new Buick logo here on the airbag. It is not going to be heated, as that is an option on this particular vehicle, but you do have the regular cruise control, distance setting, and there's your audio multimedia gauge cluster controls for the digital 8-inch display. There's the 11-inch infotainment system, again, new for the refreshed vehicle. Single zone manual climate control, some nice chrome accents. USB-A and USB-C wireless charging pad down below as part of that optional package. Auto stop start, all-wheel drive, lane keeping assist, traction control off. Nice gloss black here in the center section, electronic parking brake. Here's the standard proximity key fob. Good amount of storage in the center section. Nice soft touch padded armrest. A little bit on the thinner side, but no ports or lights that I can see in there. Up top you do have the lighter gray headliner with the black plastic B-pillar trim. A-pillar matches the headliner. There's the LED vanity illumination, manual interior rearview mirror, OnStar passenger airbag, incandescent lighting, and this one does not have the panoramic sunroof option, but that is going to be available. So that's just a very quick look at the front seats of the Encore GX. There's some soft touch materials across the dashboard, silver accent trim on the passenger side. There's the headlight controls here on the left. All the same driver assistance and safety technologies, so really not a big difference there. Now moving into the back of the Encore GX, materials are going to be very similar to the front as well, especially here on the door panel with the soft touch center section. A little bit of bottle storage down below and your chrome accent door handle pull. Here's a look at the seating surfaces themselves. Stepping height is very easy given the overall ride height and door opening. And there's a quick look at the front dashboard as well. In terms of rear seat amenities, no AC vents. You have 2 USB charge ports, 1A, 1C, and a little bit of storage. There's the mat pockets on both of the front seats. No center armrest, like I mentioned, that is going to be optional depending on the trim. There's the flip down headrests, incandescent lighting up top. Manual liftgate on both these two, optional power liftgate. There's a quick look at the storage space behind the second row seats in the GX. Now this is going to be one interesting aspect to see as far as the Envista goes, as it should be a deeper storage space, but might not be quite as tall given the overall slope design. There's the optional all-weather mats in this particular one. A little bit of additional storage on the passenger side. It does have a dual level cargo floor, so you can flip that up to gain just a few inches of additional height. Integrated spare tire and storage space beneath the floor. Incandescent lighting here on the left side, and that is pretty much it in terms of the overall space here in the Encore GX. Then finally, I do want to take a quick look at the passenger front seat, just so we have a better understanding. Now let's move over to the Envista and see some of the key differences there. So here on the inside of the Envista, this one has the blue accent interior against the black leather material. So starting out here on the door panel, you do have a similar soft touch center section with some of that unique kind of patterned blue stitching. It is slightly textured as well, but not super rough. Some silver accent trim on the upper door panel. Power windows, mirrors, and locks with none of the windows being automatic. Similar chrome door handle pull, and I would say a similar amount of lower door storage as well, which is very good to see in this overall segment and price point. 6-way manual seat, so it does have height adjustment, and that is equal between each of these two vehicles. There you can see the blue accent piping or stitching, as well as the ST on the top headrests. I really do like kind of the randomized stitching pattern on this particular vehicle. It is not actually going to be perforated on the seat, so that is a small difference as well. Now here on the inside of the Envista, you'll see very similar, if not the same, flat bottom steering wheel that is going to be leather wrapped. New Buick logo here on the steering wheel. A cruise control as well as your gap adjust here on the left side, audio, multimedia, and gauge cluster controls on the right side, and there are going to be paddles as well to control the infotainment system. There's the same 8-inch digital gauge cluster with the same overall design paired to the 11-inch infotainment, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and your physical button knob up there for volume and power. Similar chrome accents here on the interior. Now one key difference, like I mentioned, every Envista ST is going to be standard with single zone automatic climate control. So that is a very nice premium feature for sure in this overall price point. There's your gear shift lever. You can see some nice gloss black and silver accents throughout the center console area. Electronic parking brake, 2 good sized cup holders. Looks like you have engine stop start as well as lane keeping assist up front. USB-A and USB-C and a 12-volt outlet, so that is a little bit different with a little bit of additional storage space. Soft touch padded armrest. Inside, a good amount of storage, no ports or lights, so that is the same as well. Up top, you will find a black headliner actually with black pillar trim. There's your incandescent vanity illumination. Manual dimming interior rear view mirror. Overhead incandescent lighting, passenger airbag sensor, OnStar SOS, and this one does not have the power sunroof option either, so just a standard black headliner. But as you can see across the Envista, there's actually some soft touch materials here on the dashboard with the blue accent stitching that makes up, I would say, at least 50% of the dashboard design up there. As far as the door panel materials go, you do have a small soft touch portion on the armrest, otherwise full black hard touch plastic, so a little bit less material that is soft touch here in this vehicle. Still a good amount of door panel storage. Similar chrome door handle pull. There's a quick look at the seating materials itself. Step in height, I would say, due to the roof line, is just a hair lower than that of the Encore GX, but not too bad. There's a quick look at the dashboard. In terms of rear seat amenities, they're going to be equal. The USB ports are actually located a little bit higher here on the rear center console, and you do have a larger rear storage pocket. Only one mat pocket in this vehicle versus both in the Encore GX. No center armrest, like I mentioned. This is still 3-person across. Still has the fold down headrest, which is nice for rearward visibility. And I will say rearward visibility is going to be worse in this vehicle given the overall slope design of the tailgate. And yeah, as a whole, I would say the interior space in the Envista is certainly going to be better and is immediately noticeable upon stepping in this vehicle with the overall legroom, footroom, I will say headroom is the one aspect that is certainly going to be worse out of each of these two vehicles comparing them side by side. So let's take a quick look at the storage space. Once again, no powered trunk on this particular vehicle. And in terms of storage space behind the second row, exactly as I expected, you have a deeper storage to the second row seat back, but the overall height is certainly going to be limited as to what items you can place beneath the privacy shelf there. You have a light on the left side, a deep storage panel on the left side, and a little cutout here on the right. You still have an integrated spare tire, which is very nice, and a good amount of additional storage space for items around that tire, that is for sure. But you do not have a dual level load floor, unfortunately, so it's just going to be a single load floor. But it does have the stand-up feature where you can put it in those slots right there, and it will automatically hold it up so you can access the spare tire or anything located beneath the floor. So that's going to be it as far as the overall storage capacity goes. Now wrapping up here on the passenger front seat. Still going to be a four-way manual seat, so no height adjustment. Not to be expected, however. There's a better look at some of these soft touch dashboard elements, including the blue accent stitching. Glove box is still going to be damped. It does not have any illumination, and I would say roughly the exact same size as that Encore GX over there. So that's a quick look and side-by-side impressions of each of these two models. I will say overall interior space feels just a little bit larger here on the Envista, especially for rear seat occupants, but headroom is going to be the limiting factor for second row over here, where this is going to be overall just a little bit smaller on the interior space, including the cargo capacity. However, you do have a little bit more headroom for the second row, especially a little bit less legroom out back, and I will say a little bit more height for the cargo that you can store, especially beneath the privacy cover in this one. So that's just a quick overall impressions of each of these two models. So under the hood of each of these two vehicles, it's actually going to be similar and different at the same time, especially depending on if you get an all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive Encore GX. So under the hood of every Envista, you're going to find the same 1.2 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder paired to a 6-speed transmission. This puts out 137 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque only through the front wheels, as all-wheel drive is not available. Now, under the hood of the Encore GX will depend on whether you get the base trim level, the ST or the Avenir, and whether, again, you get all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. So under the STs, you'll get the 1.3 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder, which is a slightly larger engine, which puts it out 155 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque, either the front wheels only or all four wheels if you do select all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive will be paired to a CVT type transmission, and all-wheel drive will be paired to a 9-speed torque-converted automatic transmission. So really, as you can see, not too different in terms of you get front-wheel drive in each of these two models, but it will change quite a bit, not only in terms of power output, but also the transmission if you do option all-wheel drive on the Encore GX. So finally, I do want to wrap up this video with pricing information. Now, starting with the Envista, which is going to be the cheaper or less expensive option, the Sport Touring starts at $25,195, including destination, and that is actually the MSRP of this one that I'm sitting in and have showcased in this video, given it is a free cost paint color and does not have any additional option packages. Now, the Encore GX is going to depend on whether you get front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, but either way is going to be the more expensive option of each of these two. So the Encore GX Sport Touring front-wheel drive starts at $28,095, and the all-wheel drive starts at $29,695, again, both including destination. So between the Sport Touring front-wheel drives, there's going to be about a $2,900 difference between the MSRP of each of these two models. Now again, if you do get all-wheel drive, that's going to widen the gap between the two, but then it becomes a not so equal comparison in my opinion, given that one is going to be all-wheel drive, has a little bit more capability in terms of, all-weather conditions and stuff like that. But that is a key differentiating factor between each of these two models, is just the sole availability of all-wheel drive on the Encore GX. But that's pretty much where I'm going to leave off this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and or found something helpful. If you did, make sure to hit that like button below. It greatly helps out the channel in these videos. Subscribe if you guys are not already subscribed, and make sure to stay tuned and check out other content I have here on both of these two models here on the channel, as far as the Envista as well as the Encore GX and some of the other trim levels available. So with all that being said, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts in the comment section below, so make sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts and overall opinions of each of these two models. I know the Envista is just one hell hell of a deal, to put it quite frankly. Given the overall packaging, feature availability, and the overall price point, it just makes it a very, very affordable and very quality, nice vehicle, again, for the mid $20,000 price point as seen here. Now, of course, the Encore GX is still going to be a very good option, a very good value-packed vehicle. It is going to have some exclusive options and features, such as the panoramic power sunroof, and especially the Avenir trim in specific is going to have luxury amenities that you don't normally see in a subcompact SUV. But again, it does get a little bit pricey in terms of the mid to upper $30,000 price range for that top Avenir, but the Sport Touring, as seen in this video, you know, around that $30,000 mark, is really a good option as well, but is significantly more expensive than this vehicle right here. Once again, I appreciate the support here on the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and as always, hope to see you guys in the next one.